This is Andi Purewal for ID Boxing. It's always a pleasure to be joined by Peter Fury, and we are here in London. Peter, firstly, how's life treating you?
Yeah, not too bad. Could always be better, could always be worse.
Could be better, could be worse, but here we are. Savannah Marshall attempts to become undisputed champion, up at 168 now against Franchon Crews-Dezurn. Peter, when this fight was offered to you, was it just a no-brainer as a team to try and get back in there at the top of a new division?
No, I believe Savannah is already at the top. So it's a fight where it is. It's a great matchup, and it's a very exciting fight. This.
How much of Franchon have you studied or watched?
She's a great fighter, a good fighter. She's got all the belts. She belongs where she is. She's a very good fighter, and she's a stiff test. It's a 50-50 again.
Would you say that she's as tough a test then? Did you say 50-50 as what Clarissa was, just at a weight above?
Weight above, yeah. Similar, different styles. So we'll see. We'll see who the best is on the night, as they say.
You mentioned up on the stage that you feel like there's more to come from Savannah and that there's more to improve on. What more do you think we will see come June 17th?
We're going to see a few changes, and it'll be a more polished, improved Savannah Marshall again.
It's very rare, Peter, that any fighter who's on the end of a losing decision in an undisputed fight gets the opportunity to move up and challenge for the undisputed crown at the weight above. How much pressure is there on Savannah to make sure that she does get her hand raised this time around?
Zero. There's no pressure.
Obviously, people will reflect, Peter, on the last fight. There's comments that Savannah said she wasn't necessarily happy with the game plan that you guys put together. I know you may not want to reflect so much on that now, but what were your thoughts initially when you heard Savannah's comments around that?
Savannah just speaks what she says, and that's it, and it's true. Mistakes was made by myself and Savannah. But look, Savannah didn't make any, and I never made any. What it was, Clarissa was the better fighter on the night. And let's give Clarissa all the credit in the world, yeah? Look, until you're facing that higher level, both fighters got tested that night. Clarissa performed exceptionally well, and she needs maximum credit for it, yeah? So, it ain't about excuses. She lost to the better fighter on the night. Savannah's making improvements. We'll see them improvements with Franchon Crews. Hopefully, she comes through that fight. We can get a mega fight on again.
Peter, obviously, I know that rematch is something you guys wanted and you initially wanted immediately. And why is it that we didn't see that? Because the rematch clause, there's talks about that being invoked on your team's behalf. Why is it exactly we haven't seen a rematch take place?
Look, all we've told our team is that Clarissa's team wanted too much money. So that's it. So if I'm told something like this, we've got to look for other options.
So the only other option, obviously, being Franchon Crews-Dezurn, then you move forwards. If you are successful, is it to look for that rematch immediately, Peter?
I'm sure, and the good thing is, I think if Savannah gets through this fight, being a unified world champion, Clarissa's unified world champion, Savannah's happy to come back down, or Clarissa might even want to go up and prove a point where she's not won it at that weight. Who knows? But either way, whatever happens, weight won't be a problem to make that rematch.
Peter, what's the latest with Hughie?
June the 17th on this undercard. If not, the show in June, which is undecided yet. If Boxer doesn't put a show on in July, sorry, not June, July, then Hughie fights definitely on June the 17th. So it's June or July for Hughie.
I know in the past I've asked you, and it goes without saying, Hughie will fight anybody who's put in front of him. Because of obviously his injury issues, is he looking to just get one back in just to get rid of ring rust, or straight in with anybody?
No, he's had too long of a timeout, so we just need somebody who's tough and durable who can give him rounds, just to get back in the swing of things. Then after that, he's back in the deep end, ready to face anybody.
Who in particular stands out for you for a good name, beyond obviously June 17th or July if it was to be out? When you look at other top level contenders, who would you think would be a good fight for him?
Any one of them. Look, there's no point me calling out fighters and saying he wants to fight this and he wants to fight that. At the end of the day, other fighters has got to get the best money fights for them. But money talks. Hughie's got a good promotional team at the back of him. Certain fighters has been offered over £1 million to fight Hughie, and they wouldn't take it. I'm not even going to say who they are, but talk's cheap with a lot of these heavyweights. But let me tell you, he's there and he's ready and he's coming. And I'll tell you what it is, he's a problem, and we'll see. But look, that's it. whatever I say, it'll just be Tucker's whatever. He's coming back. You'll see what he's like when he's back in June, July, and then from that, he's in good fights.
Just a couple of names I want to throw at you. Obviously, the Michael Hunter fight was previously looked at and scheduled. Is that one which has been spoken internally about maybe trying to get that one back on?
Definitely, we're up for any of these fights, and the only reason that fight didn't happen, well, look, it's obviously had medical problems because he's not fought, has he? So it's quite clear. Hughie ducks nobody, and I'm his father, and definitely not. Listen, if you're good enough, you're good enough. You're not, you're not. I'm not here to waste my time. So basically, that's where we are. He couldn't fight, and there's one thing: I will not let my boxers box unless they're 100% fit. And if they've got any medical issues, they can't box.
Another name I want to put to you, Peter, is Martin Bakole. He had a victory out in Poland this past weekend. A lot of people want to see him in a step-up fight. What have you made of Martin's kind of rise recently? Obviously, he went out to France, beat Tony Yoka. People remember that recent victory as well. Somebody in the mix there for Hughie?
I think Martin's a good fighter, and he's right up there. So he's as good a fighter as any of them out there. He's a problem for anybody, being Martin Bakole. And Billy is a good friend of mine. He's done exceptional with him. So I expect to see Martin in big fights. He should get big fights.
Peter, just sticking with the heavyweight division, I want to get your thoughts on Anthony Joshua's comeback a couple of weeks ago. People critical of his performance. What did you make of seeing him back in the ring?
I haven't seen his fight, so I can't comment on it. So I think the thing is, look, if you don't have a blockbuster of a fight and you have a little bit of a, not a good fight or whatever, people look at you, you're shit. That's it. This is boxing. If you just get in there, knock somebody out, it can be a complete dummy. They think you're a killer. So they know what they're doing, like anything else. So I'm not going to judge anybody. This is the fight game. As long as they all get and fight each other, that's all we're interested in.
There's talk of a potential four-man tournament to take place at the end of the year, and Joshua Wilder is one of them. In the meantime, AJ's come and posted on Instagram he won't fight until December. Do you think that would be a correct move for him to maybe wait, or should he look for an interim fight before a potential matchup with Deontay?
Do you know what it is? I don't really care. I'm interested in my own fighters. Good luck to them. They've got their paths, we've got ours. And but listen, when they're all in top fights, sure, I'll be watching them. Even the fights on last weekend, I never got to see any of them because I was in London doing something else. But I'll catch up on them all. I'm a fight fan as well. I will look at them eventually.
Can I ask you about Joyce Zhang and your thoughts on Joe's performance in that, if you caught it?
Yeah, he can come back, Joe Joyce. Zhang's a good fighter. He's not a mug, obviously not. And he's a big heavyweight, 20 stone. Got some good fast hands. He's got good speed with him. So, yeah, Joe can come back. He needs to make some corrections, like all fighters do when they lose. Go back to the drawing board, correct it. But he's took the rematch, am I correct?
He hasn't activated as of yet, as far as I'm aware, but it seems to be that is what he wants to do.
Well, listen, he's got nowhere else to go. He needs to get that fight. He needs to correct it. There's no point Joe Joyce taking another route. He's 36, 37. He needs to correct that, fix his flaws. Can he win? Yes, he can win. But, that's his fight, the only fight for him. So why would he want another fight anywhere else?
Right, Peter, just before I let you go, in fact, the main event for June 17th, we've obviously just had a fiery press conference there. Will it be any different this time around?
It can be. Look, styles make fights, and I've always said, it's correcting your losses. Don't underestimate young Eubank. I know Liam Smith won't. It's a very, very interesting fight. Looking forward to it again.
All right, Peter, we will leave that there now. I'm sure I'll catch up with you before June 17th swings around, so thank you as always.
Good to see you.